Hey guys, welcome back to Dip Switch Demos. My name is Jackson, and usually around this time of year I like to do a bit of a pedalboard update of my big board, which is now on the Alder and Ash sort of bigger size board. However, since the last time I did one of those videos, which was 5 or 6 months ago now, it hasn't actually changed too much. In fact, the only changes have been I've removed 1 or 2 pedals. That is not really enough to warrant a pedalboard update. However, what has changed since that last video, I've sort of migrated a lot of my tones to this smaller board yet again. And kind of the heart and soul of this smaller board, which we're going to look at today, is the HX Stomp XL, which you can see up there on the top. It allows me to make this board really powerful for the size. With this setup today, I'm not using any of the amp models in there. I'm just using it as a bit of a multi-effects tool to get more effects on a smaller board. So the rest of the rig is as follows. Music Man Cutlass, I've been playing this for years, you guys know what it sounds like. Into the Pedalboard, into the Victory V40, again I've used that amp for years, who knows what it sounds like. And then into the Waza tube amp expander, and then into my audio interface. The reverb you're hearing is from the HX Stomp. It's just a little bit of spring reverb that is on all the time. Clean sound is this. And the first pedal in the chain is a new favourite of mine pretty much. It's the small speaker Overdrive from Great Eastern Effects. This thing is just great. So the amp is sort of set up with this guitar in particular to be pretty clean. If I switch over to Les Paul Jr., it starts to break up in a way. But if I want to get that sort of break up with another guitar like this, or maybe my Strat, which has even lower output pickups, the Great Eastern Overdrive small speaker gets me there. So yeah, like I said, it almost acts as a boost for my lower output guitars and gets me a bit more of an amp-like breakup, a small speaker amp-like breakup. But the next pedal in the chain is this Espresso Effects Fuzzbender Mark II, and this is just such a good fuzz pedal. It's quite picky on what amp it wants to go into and what guitar it wants to see. But with this setup currently, it sounds great to me, and I love it. It's basically a Mark II tone bender, and it rips. So it's the thick wall of sound kind of fuzz. You have to be you have to know when to use it and when not to use it, is what I'm trying to say. But I just love having it there. It's one of my favourite fuzzers at the moment. Next up is a pedal you guys know I love. It's the Brown Ounce Protein. I can't seem to pull myself away from this pedal no matter how many other great overdrives I try. I just know how to use it, and I think that counts for a lot. I've used it for a long time. I know where my settings are just at a glance. and I love it. So green side real quick, you've heard it a million times before. something special about the Protein. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Next up is the Thorpy Effect Dane. Now, I haven't had this on a board for a long time, but I found it really works well with this little setup. I'm sort of using the overdrive sound and the boost sound as two different flavors of boost. I've got the volume high on both, really. So if I want a clean boost, I use the boost side. If I want a bit of a dirty boost, maybe for a solo, then I use the overdrive sound. So say I've got the blue side of the Protein on, and say I want to go for a solo, but maybe I want a little more grit as well, then we've got this. And you know, you get a little more grit, you get a lot more volume, and then similar sort of thing with the boost side, but if I want just a slightly more cleaner, sweeter sound. It's subtle, the difference between the two, the way I have it set. If I just go for the boost side, there's a lot more attack. There's a bit more presence in there as well. Now, I've missed out something kind of key here, I guess. So the signal chain is as follows. Guitar goes into the Great Eastern Effects small speaker overdrive, then into the fuzz bender. Out of the fuzz bender, we go into the HX Stomp, and we start going through a bit of the signal chain there. So in the HX Stomp, first in the signal chain is this little compressor that I use mainly for funky stuff. I'm not playing very well today, but anyway. And then next in the signal chain in the HX Stomp is a little envelope filter, which I'm using a lot at the moment. No matter what board I'm playing with, I've got to have an envelope filter. I don't know, I'm just addicted to this sound at the moment. I just find them so much fun and so expressive. They obviously pretty much work through the dynamics of your guitar. It makes me play more dynamically even when I've got a compressor on. Yeah, I just find them a lot of fun, and I have one on most of my boards at the moment. So what I missed before is that we go small speaker overdrive, fuzz bender, HX Stomp, those two effects, so the comp and the envelope filter, and then out of the effects loop of the HX Stomp into the Protein, into the Dane, and then up into the Mood and the Slow. And these are sort of my ambient section, I guess. I use them once in a blue moon, but I just like having sort of a crazy effect going on. I've just used those two in conjunction with each other for so long now that I know what I'm doing, and I like having them as a pair. They work nicely to me. So then out of the slow, we're going back into the HX Stomp, the return of the effects loop, and we're going to some more traditional effects, a couple of modulations and a couple of delays. First up, modulation-wise, I'm going to put on just the blue side of the Protein. In fact, no, we'll put on the small speaker overdrive for a bit. I have a Univibe set up in a vibrato mode that is becoming a favourite sound of mine. I just love it because it adds so much movement and pulse to the sound. yeah, I'm guilty of leaving that on quite a lot again. And then moving up here, we have a bit of a tape delay slap. Again, works really great with this sort of sound. Then we have next to that a slightly longer delay, more analog. And then finally, I just have a little bit of tremolo, just because I was using it in particular for a recording I did the other day for a song, and I just needed a bit of country tremolo. And there we have it, the little board that I've been using a hell of a lot at the moment, just because, like I said, it's easier to swap things out for demos, and it's just as powerful as my big board, but is in a much smaller package. Loving it. The H6 Stomp allows me to do all this, and again, if I ever turn up to a gig and the amp goes, or I'm using a backline and I don't particularly like it, then I have all the amps in there if I want to use them. Standout pedals on here that I use literally all the time would have to be the small speaker Overdrive. I might need to get another one of these because I'm obsessed with this little pedal. You need to go check them out for sure. Then of course the Protein as well. It's a gold standard for me, but also the Dane. I've rediscovered the Dane. It's a great little overdrive that I've not used for a long time. So I'll play you guys out a little bit. We'll just play some tones. I'll mess around a bit. Go to my go-to tones with this board, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.
you.